So we're here today in Golden Gate Park with Yolima from Colombia. And tell us about your experiences here this morning.
Well, I'm here at the Golden Gate Park, which is really beautiful, but unfortunately there is something I didn't like. The fact that you have to pay $7 just because you are coming from a different country is totally unfair. I didn't like it. It's discriminatory, and I think people should ask for the same quantity of money, either if you are local or not. Actually, just asking for money to enter a park is unfair. It's a public space, but I don't like it. It's the same like in Colombia. You have to pay for more money if you come from a different country, if you go to some natural reserves and some parks.
Right.
It's not fair. I mean, why should you pay more money? It's like if you're traveling, you're spending enough money to pay more. And being asked an ID just to confirm if you're local or not, what the heck? Why should we just show our IDs when we are at a public space? Isn't this public? Not fair. So watch out if you come here, come run in before they ask you for your ID. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, so what do you think about this neoliberal model where we pay our tax dollars and then we're taxed a second time to use public resources?
Well, yes, that's good that you pay tax to take care of the resources because they are expensive to take care. But come on, besides paying tax, then you have to pay to enter those places. It's like paying twice.
Yeah, and if you come here as a visitor, you pay a hotel and tax rate, which is supposed to go to the arts. 23% of that money goes to the De Young. The De Young pays very high salaries to the staff at the top, and they're charging $25 for a special exhibit. And it's in a public place. Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's paying more than twice when you are supposed to pay, because your taxes are supposed to be paying already for that. And now, besides the taxes, you have to pay extra money to get in there. So it's like your taxes won't count.
Right, and if you're coming here, if you're bringing your friend or relative, if they can't pay, you have to pay for them. If you're from out of city, if you left the city because of the high rents, which are unaffordable here for many people, then you come back to San Francisco and now you have to pay an extra $2 to get in to the Conservatory of Flowers, which used to be free, or the Tea Garden, which used to be free, and $7 to get into the Arboretum, and that money doesn't even go to the city. It goes to the Botanical Garden Society.
Only, basically.
Well, actually, it goes to this private nonprofit called the San Francisco Botanical Garden Society, and they paid a lobbyist hundreds of thousands of dollars to argue for these fees. And they claim it's a revenue source, but actually the city had to pay all this money for these ticket booths and so forth, and to pay for the collection is very expensive. So it doesn't really make that much, it doesn't make significant revenue, especially since they pay a couple $1 million to do this. But the thing is, the elites like to keep people out. They like to restrict access to places. They think they're better than other people. And this Botanical Garden Society has only a couple thousand members, but they're very wealthy and very influential. And the wealthy people think everything should be named after them. They should cite everything. They don't believe in any type of democracy. They only believe that their interests are the ones that should be expressed, and they feel like the park is some sort of mausoleum for everything to be named after them, and they should decide what goes on. And they want to have their parties. They put a parking garage in here we didn't want. It ruined these tunnels, and this guy who did it had a meadow named after him just because he was able to spend millions of dollars on this bluegrass concert, which also enabled him and his friends to get prime seats and be able to meet all these bluegrass stars and country music stars and so forth firsthand. It was well worth the money to him. But you know, for some reason we have to rename Speedway Meadow Hellman Haller after a very wealthy Republican who is very anti-union. So thank you for your time.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
Enjoy your visit.